bakit mahalaga na magpabakuna po tayo laban sa COVID-19?
Vaccines have been in existence for 220 years. Vaccines work, vaccines are safe, and vaccines are effective. Cheryl, this is something that everyone should really believe in because we have gone through all of the benefits of vaccination. It has extended life expectancy. Humaba ang buhay ng mga tao. Kung noon, 45 years old lang, namamatay na madalas. Ngayon, humahaba na. Sa atin nga, 70, 75. Sa Japan, 90. Sa US, nasa 80s. That means because of vaccination, we have extended the lives of the people. And besides that, yung mga bata na halos pag 5 years old pa lang, marami na ang namamatay, di ba? Now, every year, more than 3 million children are actually saved because of vaccines. Now came the pandemic, and people are saying, what do we do? This is the first time we have a pandemic as severe as this. Of course, the first one that you will think about is 100 years ago, no, 1918, the flu vaccine. The flu epidemic that came out, the pandemic that killed more than 50 million, as they said. This is almost, I think, a third of the world's population at the time. And right now, we are seeing that we have this pandemic, not the flu, but a coronavirus, the COVID, that has actually killed already at this time, from January up to now, 1.5 years. They have already killed more than 3 million people. And actually infected how many? I think more than, again, so many 100 million have already been infected. It's just good that we have some minimum public health standards that we are using, right? The mask, the shield, distancing, because we already know at least how to mitigate or how to reduce the transmission of infection. Ito yung kailangan nating malaman sa mulat-mula pa, di ba? Sa umpisa pa lang, naku, mag-mask tayo, mag-face shield, kasi yung mikrobyo ay dadaan sa ating ilong, sa ating bibig, at sa ating mata. That's the reason why we have to use this. And of course, the farther you are from anyone who might have the virus, distancing, that is the one that we need to use and to make sure we are all equipped. But then, this is not going to be the way to go out again and become normal. Ang sabi natin, the only way is to use a vaccine. And this is why the world, starting last year, even as early as March or April, di ba, WHO has already declared that the only way we can get out of this pandemic is to get a vaccine that would have at least a 50% efficacy. What does that mean? Big sabihin, yung 50% efficacy would at least be able to reduce by 50% the number of those who will get infected. But then those who will be infected are not necessarily all severe and will die. We all know now that only about 3% will have severe and critical COVID. And these are usually the older population. And these are also the ones with heart disease, hypertension. Yan yung mga malamang mamatay kung sila ay kapitan ng COVID. So right now, we do have vaccines already. And mind you, those who say that minadali or bakit yung ibang bakuna, 5 years, 10 years bago makarating, bakit itong COVID in 1 year you are using now? Not just 1, but 2, 3, 4, dito nga sa Pilipinas, 4 na ang meron tayong available. But that is because the people actually started, the scientists, okay? Vaccine manufacturers, the philanthropists, Bill and Melinda Gates, Pfizer, Astra, they all work together. And even China started to share with the world the genetic code that would give you the key towards making that mRNA vaccine, that had they not given that code, it will take maybe another year or so before you can say, ano ba to? Ito ba yung talagang code? They will have to discover it first. But China shared it in January of 2020. So they were able to get the code, put the protein subunit, generate that in your body, and presto, you are able to generate the soldiers, the antibodies that will fight the COVID once it enters your body. That is how vaccines work. For the other vaccines, as you know, there are many types, right? You do have the inactivated that in fact came from China first, di ba? Yung ating ginagamit ngayon na Sinovac, Sinopharm, and even Bharat. Those three are what we call inactivated. What are these type of vaccines? Yan po yung kauna-unahang bakuna na ginawa 220 years ago. Sa aking palagay, marami na pong experience sa inactivated. Kaya naman nung kunin ko yung bakunang yan, dahil yan ang naunang nagdumating sa Pilipinas, I was in fact confident that after looking at the data and after realizing that this is a safe vaccine. To me, inactivated, more or less, if you look at the data and you don't see anything na medyo nakakatakot, I would do it. I would get it. And that's actually what I get, because that was the first vaccine that came into the Philippines, diba? I was confident to get it because inactivated vaccine have been in use for 220 years. Yung flu vaccine natin, meron ding inactivated. Yung ating tetanus, meron ding inactivated. Yung ating mga ginagamit na ibang bakuna sa typhoid or other kinds of vaccines, merong inactivated. So these things, you need to realize that the experts, not just from the Philippines, well, the scientists all over the world work together to ensure that any vaccine that will be able to give you more than 50% efficacy or 50% and up will be good, as long as, number one, it is safe, it will not cause harm, and number two, it is effective and efficacious. And that is what we all want to really tell our people, that once the experts approve a vaccine for use in the public domain, please trust them, because I'm sure no one would want people to get harmed. We have been living with vaccines for all these years. Ang mga bata, ang mga children natin, they survived polio. They actually did not get measles, which can kill readily. They did not get tetanus. They did not get meningitis because of vaccines. And we have more than, right now we have about 30 vaccine preventable diseases, including measles, mumps, rubella, rotavirus, pneumococcal. We have so many, of course, yellow fever, of course, even dengue.